Does free will exist? It's a question that I've asked myself now for over 10 years, and it's one that I feel like I can answer to a degree. And I feel like my answer simply is no, free will definitely does not exist. At least completely. Like complete free will as in we have the choice and autonomy to be and do what we want to do, and that is 100% up to us. That free will does not exist. For example, right now I'm about to go on a run, and my choice to go on a run felt like my choice. It felt like I was the person who chose to go on a run. Like I really wanted to eat the other half of a burrito I have sitting at home right now. It looks so yummy and tasty. I'm just gonna pop it in the microwave and oh my God, I'm gonna have a good time with that burrito. But I decided I'm going to run instead. And I started thinking about free will. And I thought back, I remembered back to when I was a middle school student, and it was PE class, and we had to run a mile. We had to run a quarter mile. And I remember the way that my body responded to running. My body kind of naturally responded to running really well. I was quite thin, and I can run, at a moderate pace pretty dang well. Now, there was other people in the PE class whose legs had like bone structural issues, so it made it significantly harder for them to run, and they didn't find running as enjoyable. It was actually painful for them to run. Whereas me, fortunately, through no choice of my own, I had the bone structure that allowed me to kind of enjoy running, actually get some pleasure out of it. I experienced runner's high. I experienced accomplishment in the PE class because of this kind of what seemed to be kind of like a natural strength that I have. That I didn't work for. It was just something when I was a kid I just did, and I was just a little better at it than most people. Now, that's not to say I didn't try. I definitely did try. I definitely did try to achieve some accomplishments, but running was something that came to me naturally. I did not pick the particular bones in my legs that I have right. These bones, I did not pick them. Yet, they determined so much of what would create my high school experience. I became a really good high school runner. I even went on to run in college for a year. It determined the people that I met. It determined the coaches that I got to work with. It determined how people perceived me. It determined my popularity. It determined my health. It's determined so many things to this point. Whereas had I not had the particular bone or muscle mass created to be a decent runner, like what would have I been doing right now? I definitely wouldn't be about to go on a 5-mile run the way I am about to right now. And we like to think that our choices are really up to us, but the truth of the matter is that I would not be going on this run right now had I been like had my legs not had the right bone structure, kind of like my classmate in middle school. He had this bone structure, and it was painful for him to run. I don't think he ever even experienced a runner's high because of that pain, and he never went on to run. Actually, this individual I'm thinking of, they actually started utilizing more drugs in order to feel good and happy, and they kind of went down that path, and I kind of went down this path. And so running helped me avoid man, the lighting here. Running helped me practice healthy coping strategies. And it once again, going back to free will, did I have free will today over this decision to come run? Technically not, because everything has funneled down from that experience that I had in middle school, that first time I ever did a run in middle school, and the way that my body reacted to it and my experience in that. Up to this very day, I'm almost 30 years old, and today I decided I am going on a 5-mile run, and it felt like it was my decision, but it was really actually the last that decision resulted from just a cause and effect that has been occurring since 10 years ago. No, this was 13, 14 or so, 15 or so years ago. It's just been occurring. It's been a cause and effect of things. So free will, going back to free will cannot exist completely. Like there's no way that we have 100% control over everything that we do. It's an illusion. It feels like we do. It feels like I had the choice today to buy Mexican food. I had the choice. I could have bought McDonald's or I could have bought Mexican food. But I am Mexican, and my parents took me to taquerias when I was younger. And I love burritos, and I love carne asada plates because that's kind of what I grew up with, and it's healthy. And once again, going back to like my career in high school, I valued health. I valued healthy eating, and that's why I chose the taqueria, San Jose Taqueria. Had I not had that experience, had I been not raised Mexican, and had I not been, someone who was a healthy athlete in my high school years, would I had chosen the McDonald's today? Potentially, but I chose taqueria. So you see what I'm saying, guys? The free will can't exist because we do not choose the circumstances that we are born into. We don't choose our race. We don't choose our height. Unfortunately, 5'7" or 8" club. We didn't choose that, man. So we don't choose these things. We don't choose our name. We don't choose our mental health. We don't choose. Some people are born with schizophrenia. Some people are born with developmental disorders, and that's just how it is. And to say that they have 100% control and autonomy over every other decision that they make in their life, following the existence of their diagnosis, is ignoring the fact that there are these things. We function within parameters. Now, I'm breaking off from that point, but we function within parameters. We function within a box. And within that box, it feels like we have choices. It feels like we have active decision making. It feels like I can either choose, I'm gonna eat Starburst, or I'm gonna eat me a Reese's Pieces Buttercup or whatever. That's what it feels like. But those decisions are based on prior experiences that I had, and those experiences were not completely determined by me, but rather other things in the universe interacting, dozens, trillions of others, causes and effects that came long before your boy John, who did not pick his name, John. So I'm John. Everyone knows me as John. I didn't pick that name. That's just my name. I don't know. Maybe a girl thought that name was ugly in high school, and I didn't get to get with her because she thought that. Or maybe a girl thought I was cute in high school, and I got to get with her because of, it's just so. Okay, let me recollect myself. Free will cannot exist because we are already within boundaries. Being born, the default, the prerequisite to being alive is being born with certain traits that are assigned to you. Your skin color, your height, your brain, all of these things are assigned to you. Therefore, when we go out into life and we act in the ways that we do and we choose the things that we do, whether that's a partner or a career or the school that we go to, all of those things are already kind of predetermined based on circumstances that we have been born into. For example, had my parents been billionaires, I would have just bought my way into, I don't know, what college do I want to go to? Yale, Stanford, I don't know. I would have just bought my way into it. I don't know. But that didn't happen. So free will cannot exist. And this is a fascinating question. I love this quiz. This question gets me going. It's one of my favorite questions to talk about. And free will is a fascinating subject. And I feel like it's ultimately, at the end of the day, free will helps us practice self-compassion. And here's where I'm moving from the concept of free will as a philosophical discussion to a mental health thing. But I feel like free will helps us practice self-compassion. It helps us understand ourselves better. It helps us maybe decentralize our own wrongdoings and not take non-accountability or not take away accountability, but help us understand, hey man, like there is reasons why we are the way we are. So for people who struggle with self-compassion, going back to free wills though. So with free will, it is just a fascinating subject because ultimately everything that we choose to be, that we through illusion feel that we choose, is not our own doing. And I think that is a wild and a bizarre and a crazy thing. Now, one final point. Although I know free will does not exist, I have to say that I do not think believing, or this point I'm trying to make, it's always taken me some difficulty to describe, but let me just think clearly. Just because free will doesn't exist doesn't mean we shouldn't believe that free will doesn't exist. I still feel like it's helpful to believe that free will exists at the end of the day, although this is an illusion. And the reason I say this is because sometimes some people can fall into the trap of, well, free will doesn't exist. Well, I'm just going to give up and that's my free will, But I feel that still, and especially now in my third year being a therapist, I actually always push my clients to believe that they have the ability and the power to make change, positive change in their lives. Even though I know that free will doesn't exist, because just because free will doesn't exist doesn't mean that just because I know free will doesn't exist doesn't take away the therapeutic effect of believing in free will, because ultimately I still get to choose, or at least feel like I get to choose on a day-to-day basis, healthy decisions. I get to pick things that are healthy for me, that will benefit me in the long run. And if I were just to believe that free will doesn't exist, I could see someone becoming hopeless, and I could see someone just kind of like throwing up the towel. But if they believe that they have power, and that they believe that they can make healthy decisions and better decisions for themselves, improve their lives, improve the lives of others, then that is going to improve the chances that they do. And this goes back to psychological research, that when we believe we are capable of something, the likelihood of that something happening increases, I think, like exponentially. So belief is powerful. Belief is powerful. And just because free will doesn't exist doesn't mean you should stop believing in yourself. You have to continue believing in yourself. What I'm trying to say is, maybe if you are the person who is choosing to believe in yourself, and you can feel the motivation running around in your system right now, and you're believing in yourself, what I'm saying is that still might be predetermined by prior things, and still might be kind of like illusory. It might, yes, you believing in yourself and you're going to do that great thing. Like right now, I'm going to go on a run. It's going to be a great run. I believe in myself, but I also still accept that it's still out of my free will range, that I, at my very core, whatever that might mean, still did not technically choose to go on a run. This happened because of things, I already gave you guys the story, but basically the whole story up until this moment. And yeah, so, I don't think it just sucks the meaning out of life, because I gathered lots of meaning from my prior experiences. So it's like, just because there's absence of free will, or at least 100% total complete free will, doesn't mean that there's absence in meaning. Doesn't mean that we still didn't find events significant, and that they didn't garner healthy aspects, or they didn't foster healthy psychological traits within us, or healthy behaviors or perspectives. Just because we don't have free will doesn't mean that the life is just sucked out of all of its goodness. There's still goodness in life. So with that, I know this is kind of like a mental twister, but I wanted to make a video on free will so badly because I love this subject and I'm going to keep touching on it. Free will is a fascinating subject. Guys, we do not have control over our circumstances, but when we start to believe that we do not have the control over the initial circumstances, but once we do start to believe that we do have control over the things that happen after we're put in those initial circumstances, that is when we actually increase the probability of good positive change happening, even though it may have all been predetermined in the long run. So with that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful predetermined rest of your afternoon and that you decide to do something that you love today. I'm about to go on this run. It's almost sunset time right now. It's beautiful. We're gonna get our sweat on. We're gonna drink some water. We're gonna eat some good food. It's Halloween tomorrow. Hallelujah, it's Halloween tomorrow. It's a happy day, guys. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. I love you. And yeah, have a happy predetermined afternoon. Peace and love. It's not turning off.